Yeah.
Guru Nation, this is a blast from the past with my boy, Andrew Young. Did we ever do a pod?
I don't think we've ever done a pod, just like some
That's
little snippets
unbelievable.
of video.
Because
Like
for like a year or two stretch, we talked daily,
yeah,
multiple times a day. I've
yeah,
been to your site in LA back in the day.
yeah. I mean, you helped us get our first trials, and remember when
Cardio.
he and Chris Sauber came to our site for a site selection visit because we didn't have the staff. And I subsequently hired somebody, but I mean, like that was the level of dedication. That is the level of dedication of his organization. Like Chris, like negotiated my first budgets, and I would definitely not be in this space if it weren't for Dan. We met in like 2015, 2016, and
Yes.
worked on a
Over a
project.
decade now.
Yeah, we worked on a project together with an IVD company, in vitro diagnostic.
In vitro
company.
diagnostic. Oh, yes, that's right. That's where I got that name.
Yeah, what was really impressive to me was that the work that you did for the company, like it stopped before you met the prepayment limit. So basically, you credited back the money to
Yeah.
my client, like that remains,
Which never
instead of-
happens anymore.
It never happens that the down payment comes back. So I thought
Yeah.
that was just like so upright.
What a concept.
It was like so upright and honest and the right thing to do. So
That was when we were
I
doing
appreciate
CRO
that.
stuff, and it was interesting times. And a decade, a lot changes, a lot still stays the same. Like the sites are kind of consistent.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, yes, private equity is coming through, but if anything, that's making the independent sites more important. Usually, if like whatever is more scarce is more valuable, and in this case, it's like private sites, community-based sites, which is the majority of the audience here. Yourselves, ourselves, like every co-founder is a site owner, with the exception of Ashley, who basically will be very soon if things go the right way with Latinos in research. But what's your evolution been as a site owner? Like,
Yeah.
what did you think starting this 10 years ago versus like where you are now? And if you could tell yourself advice back then, like what would you tell yourself? Would you do anything different?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good question. One is that I would have gone all in earlier. I had like 1 foot in my previous like work as a consultant and 1 foot in research, and
You're being
and I should
careful.
have just jumped over to research because it would have happened so much faster. I don't think I've also been really lucky because I was just fortunate enough to meet Rodney Simon, Dr. Simon, who's my
Still
research
working with
partner.
him?
Yeah, we continue to work together, and we're
He's their
growing.
cardiologist.
Yeah,
He's a cool
so
dude.
he's been like that was my biggest piece of good fortune to team up with the right person.
And you've always been, this industry gets a lot of, I think, unjust criticism, or like there's unethical people involved. Like we all know stories, of
Yeah.
people who did certain things, and you've always been like way above the board. What's the sponsor feedback been on your site? Like,
We've also been really lucky to attract some great research coordinators who are super conscientious. Their hearts are in it for the right reasons, and I think when you're there for the right reasons and you have the right personality for research, and let's face it, like there's some specific personality traits that make you much more successful in research, or you shouldn't be in it. They have been like the wind under the wings of the whole organization. So that's like choosing those people has been crucial, and I haven't always been successful with
have
that.
you been
but
good at like retention, or?
Yeah, the people
We have
that-
some like our employees are keepers, but we go through periods of very busy activity and then very low. Like right now, we're in pretty low. We're in between studies. We've been in between studies for a while, a little too long. But
yeah, we've been as
Also?
well. Yeah, but it's
how do you
just-
manage?
it's
And
like
Jaime,
all-
this is where you.
it's kicking back in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but did you want to talk about what you're
No,
doing?
no. I just found it very interesting to find out that you were the first generation of the CRA Academy, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, and
Yeah, the CRA
Academy.
Academy originally
I
too.
forgot
Yeah,
that part. Yeah.
yeah, and that's actually how I got my start. Like if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have had the global picture of clinical
That's
research and
right.
how it all fits
We
together.
were not segmented enough to have a CRC Academy yet. But
That's
now
right.
that you would have
That's
been
right.
in that, and
Yeah,
that we've tried to bring back that site owner academy. I know we've talked about it before.
yeah.
It's just we never get like that. There's some announcements. There's actually a crime scene that was over there. That's some hints for some stuff. But your grandfather did. Don't worry.
you.
We're we haven't forgot about that.
Yeah, you know what might be a good possible replacement or like adjunct to it would be like a roundtable group
Yeah.
led by someone highly experienced.
Like a founders forum or something.
Yeah, like that, so that you have this peer sharing. It'd be cool to do that in person. You could do it, on Zoom. but-
Almost like a mini what we do here, but
yeah. So everybody is contributing their insights, like helping to tackle each person's problems. Each person could give an update. I think.
Would you be
a
interested
lot
in
of
that?
people would be interested in that.
you love site owners.
Yeah.
I'm in love. He's a mid-level provider. Thought research was a scam.
Yeah,
If
at
it
the beginning I
wasn't-
did.
If it wasn't for the family relationship, he would have told me peace out. Probably.
Probably.
Probably. But now he's very happy. Even when times are tough, it's still like in a way fulfilling. Even though there's like challenges with employees here and there, but the last batch of staff we've had have been really good. We still have like some issues as far as maintaining like consistency of visits.
Yeah.
When psychiatry is very hard for that, and right now we're relying heavy on psych, but that's about to change with cardiology, which
Yeah.
is your bread and butter, man.
Yeah. Would it be okay? I want to ask you a few
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
Like I'm the interviewer,
Of
because
course, go for it.
when I first met you, you were very successful, but since then you've gone up a couple of levels, and I'm wondering like what habits, what attitudes, like how have you grown? Because I think we both agree, we all agree that your business only grows when you can grow.
Yeah.
So what do you think happened, in your evolution that got you to this point? Because this is, a whole couple levels above what you were doing before.
It's hard to answer these because revisionist history, and you start like the human mind is like kind of weird in the sense that it paints a picture of like it wasn't always accurate, or like it was a lot of struggle, a lot.
Yeah.
You get punched in the face a lot of times.
You are also doing personal development the whole way. I mean,
Yeah,
that's something that
read.
you and I have
I
in
still
common.
read a
Yeah.
shitload. I know you and I were always talking about books. I've shifted more from business books, which I was big into back then, like how to do social media and how
Myth
to
Revisited.
email. Well, that one I love. That's foundational. But like Gary Vaynerchuk type stuff, to help me with this. I've like graduated beyond that. I feel like I've kind of gotten everything I can out of that to philosophy and like biographies and like first person accounts, like reading Marcus Aurelius directly from him.
Yeah.
Or if I'm reading like a secondary source like a Walter Isaacson, the best biographer, like
Yeah.
every profile he's done other than Einstein, I have to do that one, but I've read all his
Ben
books.
Franklin?
Ben Franklin's my favorite one.
Yeah, I love that.
That one's my favorite. Even the Elon Musk one is good too, even though he's going through like, you could get canceled right now for saying that, but that one's like his best book in my opinion.
Oh, gotta check it
That's
out.
the only one where he featured the guy who's still living, and he
yeah.
did that before like Doge.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can write another book on Elon, really. So it's been more.
So you kind of absorbed some of the philosophy and you incorporated it into your life. Is that
You know what
that's-
it's been? If you distill it to first principles,
Yeah.
it's reading unselfishly. And when I was younger, I
To
read
educate
selfishly.
your team.
I read selfishly to like get an outcome like right away. Like, what am I gonna get from this book? If I don't get anything right away, I'm gonna toss it. And now I just read for the interest, like, I'm gonna go through the book and like read for the purpose of like just reading it and seeing what happens,
Yeah.
and not really wanting an outcome. And if I don't get one, that's fine. I mean, that's why you got to pick the right books, I think.
Yeah.
So that you at least learn something. Like I'm reading Leonardo da Vinci now, which is pretty tough to get through. I'm telling you, Walter Isaacson's the best biographer
He's great.
ever.
Yeah.
I think it's that. Like nothing wrong with reading selfishly, but I did that all my 20s and my 30s, and now in my 40s, I'd like to say it's unselfish. I'll probably look back at this when I'm 50 and say, no, that was still like selfish elements. But
So it's like reading with long term in mind.
yes, like no more like short term objectives. Like I kind of have the thesis for what I know works, and now it's more like fundamental, like frameworks, mental models. Charlie Munger, Charlie's Almanac.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Mental model. Once I found out mental models and memes are the same thing, because I was doing memes on LinkedIn for a while.
Yeah.
And when I learned about Charlie Munger's mental models and how they're actually memes, I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean memes? And then you can like kind of grasp the whole idea from this image. It helps you make, not only is it funny, but it helps you make fast decisions in like real time.
Have you
So
really
that-
seen Parrish's stuff?
No,
Like,
no.
oh, okay. He's big on Charlie Munger, and he wrote a whole book on like mental models.
Oh,
I'll
really?
check that out. Yeah.
Like he loved Charlie Munger.
Yeah.
Shane
oh, yeah.
Parrish.
Well, yeah. He named his blog Farnham Street after where
See, Andrews always give me, man, oh, cool.
where the founder of Berkshire Hathaway is like street like that.
Oh,
But,
okay.
I have another question for you. So
Yeah.
one of the things that really amazed me from the first time I met you was that you were just such a creator, like and a content creator. And I was like, damn, this guy is like unstoppable. Like you were just, and you didn't even have that much of an audience at that time.
Right.
And you just had the faith and you just kept recording and posting and recording and posting. So what is it that has driven you? Because that takes a lot of grit to be have
Yeah.
that level of consistency.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, almost nobody's going to be a successful influencer, but I knew you were going to be because you just were so relentless.
Damn.
And you
I don't
even
know.
got me to come here
It's
to
crazy.
talk
It's like
today, even though
bipolar, or I don't know, permanently manic, I think.
you have a lot of
yeah.
energy. I mean, that's part of it. But I mean, it's like you have this will to contribute. You know, like because you were even then just cleaning up on all of the insights that you were gaining, interviewing people. You had humility and continue to. You wanted to find a way to help the people who were listening.
Yeah.
You know?
I try to help myself too, and like back to like the duality. It's selfish. The interviews and videos started. Well, let me get more patients for my site, which turned into coordinators my work. Maybe there's something here. To now, it's just like it's a habit at this point. Like I see how it feeds the other businesses, and I'm like, and I'm also having fun doing it. So it's like, well, yeah, like it's a no-brainer to me to do this. And now with AI being able to take the same, roast turkey and make a sandwich and a stew out of it, like where you already cooked the turkey once, right? So you have multiple meals from the same original source. You have derivatives of the content.
Yeah.
I think I was born with crazy like confidence.
Yeah.
I got that from my
you're
mom.
bold.
But other than that, I don't know, just crazy enough to think it would like scratch my own itch because I knew others would.
Yeah.
And then just seeing a little bit, like even those early days, no views, 12 views, but then getting one text message from like a real site owner saying, no, thank you, because of you, I started the site.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
like,
I
that's
messaged you.
enough to keep me going.
That
like,
was how we first met because I
yeah,
messaged
like
you out of the blue.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's enough to keep me going. And like, okay, I know it works. And even days I don't feel like making a video.
Yeah.
With the birth of my son, 6 weeks now, I used to feel like I have to make a video every day. And now I'm over that. I'm like, no, only if it's worth making it, I'm going to make it. Because now I have time, like my time's supposed to be focused on other things.
And you have a body of work that's doing work for you.
Long tail,
Yeah.
man. And we're
Yeah.
doing like videos now with Yuma clinical trials. And Those are once a month, so they're more manageable.
You know what I'd like to see you do is upload all your content into an AI and then post online like a
That shit would
you know,
crash, man.
a site that we can just ask questions like we're talking to you, and it would
Train the
it would
AI on
pull-
all that
yeah
shit.
on all of your stuff, and then you can just take a break.
We gotta talk to one of these AI people on that. Yeah, no, there's definitely that's a lot of work.
Yeah, well for somebody.
Finding all those terabytes is one thing. Like, yeah, it's just a little bit to keep me going, and that's really all I need. And
Yeah.
now it's clear. Like, I can't imagine not doing a video. Like,
Yeah.
there's a tipping point in every business. For me, it was videos, but for a landscaper, it might be making phone calls or walking neighborhoods. The ROI doesn't make sense at all. Like, you're crazy to try this. You're crazy. It makes no sense. There's an inflection point, and now, like, to an outsider that would be here or something, it's like crazy not to. Like, if I were to quit, people would be like, "You're crazy." But when I started, no one was telling me. Everyone was telling me I'm crazy to start.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think that was the part of the secret of your success, if it were a secret, is that you've been, ever since I've known you, highly experimental. Like, you've been willing to try crazy ideas.
Ask
And,
Jaime, man.
you know, and
I
put-
drive him crazy in the site
And
sometimes.
I'm sure like 90% of them probably don't work, but the 10% that do are, you
Yeah.
know, have helped you to blow up.
Yeah.
You know?
It could be
That's
chaotic for business partner. Chris and Jaime are very similar.
Yeah.
Like, Chris is the brake to my gas, and in a way, Jaime is too, on a smaller scale, but with Yuma.
Yeah, but it's like Amazon. Like have tried so many different things, but it's these kind of you're experimental, you're in research,
Yeah.
and you give it a try. You see if you can make it.
Well,
happen.
and you
you
know,
don't
like-
give up very easily too. That's
Yeah,
part
no.
of it.
If I like it, I won't stop unless I see no reason. But like in the age of like AI and everything's getting commoditized, and there's gonna be no difference between this hotel and the other one, and like the artist essentially is a poet. Like, you're able to observe. I was telling you this. You're a good artist is a good observer first. Like, to be a good podcaster, you have to be a good observer first. And if I stop being a side owner, I think I could only be a podcaster in this space for like a year, because my observation's gonna be over, and then like I'm gonna be bullshitting like a year from now. Like, well, what do you mean? No, that's not a tool they use anymore. Like, this guy's full of shit, and I would be bullshitting. So it's important to have like keep your hands dirty still, and that way you know that you're giving out truth. Like, you're observing properly, at least through your filter, and you're reinterpreting it to the audience and letting them know, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
but AI give you their opinion too, right? So that's the differentiating factor, I think. is-
Yeah. Now, you've mentioned this like in some of your podcasts, like made allusions to this, but what's next for you? Like, because I've seen you, go from one level to the next, but what's the next level for you?
I think it's to, besides the local stuff, like in Yuma, it's to expand to biotech investing. Like, I've always loved that. To me, it's passion.
I know, and I remember like,
AQST, love that stock.
and early on, like part of your vision was to get equity in
Yes.
some of the pharmaceutical companies.
I still
that you
plan
were
that.
hoping to
Yeah.
succeed.
I still want that. I'm still figuring out how, because I know they would want me for the site knowledge,
Yeah.
but there's other aspects, like social investing is one way, like becoming a social investor champion, like an expert for a company,
Yeah.
like picking a stock, an obscure stock that you're obsessed with, and being the guru on that stock. When CNBC, you can't compete. They can't compete with you. Like, it makes no sense for them to cover AQST all day long, but it does for me. And then how does that translate into working with an AQST or someone similar, or just making a separate business out of that? Making meetups. You can do a meetup around AQST, have a IP approval party or IP failure party. I mean, that would be depressing as fuck, but like, people would still want to congregate, and like share in the misery.
Yeah.
Misery love company.
Yeah. So you've been able to bring together people in a very powerful way, and I can see you like taking that to the 10x as
To the
well,
10.
and finding other ways to convene more people. I like the regional kind of
The mini
things as
meetup, that's all Ashley
That's
Margot.
an awesome idea. I can see this going international. With
Oh,
you,
yeah.
everything
Yeah,
you're
there's
doing.
people from France that came here, Chile,
Africa,
Africa, Australia. Yep.
Sudan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think getting people like Jaime around you, Ashley, Chris, because the way I operate is like chaos still. But with them, if you partner with the right people, it's like a more controlled chaos.
Yeah.
Like they don't let me go too crazy. If Hyman tells me, nah, we shouldn't really hire another or give like a bonus, then I'm like, even though I want to, I'll be like, you know,
I need breaks.
probably
like
has
that.
he
Yeah.
probably has a point. He does that not that often, but and Chris doesn't do it that often, but when they do, I'm like, yeah, you know, I gotta maybe stop a little bit.
Yeah. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Sure.
So you've worked more closely with Dan than just about anyone except for Chris Sauber. Like,
Chris.
what is
And my wife.
and your wife? Yeah, of course. What's your observation? I mean, you've gotten a chance to see Dan
Yeah.
at work. You saw him start from scratch in Yuma with you.
Yeah.
What is it? What do you think the kind of his like like his kind of killer capability is? You know, like what do you think has made him successful in Yuma and with his social media, because you've seen him do a lot of social
definitely.
media. Yeah, what habits, like what kind of attitudes do you think have contributed? I mean, I have my own, observations, and
Yes,
I
yes.
have tremendous admiration.
Well, when you were asking him and he was telling you the books and all that, I was thinking on the other side, like from outside the box, right?
Yeah,
When I met Dan, he already had a site. He was already the guru, the clinical trials guru. So it wasn't like he was new to the industry.
sure. He knew
But
what
we
he's
started
doing.
Yuma Clinical Trials from scratch.
No coordinator.
No coordinators. I mean,
Just
he was a
you
coordinator.
failing
yeah.
together.
Yeah, but he had the knowledge, so that was a huge plus, right? Now, earlier, I think it was before we started recording, you mentioned that you got your PI that was very good.
Yeah.
We did too.
Yeah.
Dr. Smith, he's awesome. He's awesome. So
Were you already you hadn't worked with Dr. Smith at the time?
no,
that you
well,
came?
I was
Okay.
I was a nurse at the hospital when he was rounding patients. So
I see.
I
So
kind of met. I knew who he was. We met before, but not we never collaborated. And other than that, now knowing that he has a few things that in Mexico we say he tiene ángel, like he has an angel inside, and he just does. I mean, there's people that just do it. They don't have to do anything, and they just do, right? So he has that. That's the one. The other one, he perseveres. Like we will go in the clinic, and this is a year into it. We haven't made a penny out of it. We actually invest a little bit of money
Yeah.
and time.
I feel
You've been
you.
there.
I feel you.
Yeah. So
But
we
it
were-
took me twice as long.
Yeah, we were there. I'm like, wow, is this thing even worth it? And he was like, oh man, we already got this study. I know it's tough. It's gonna be hard to recruit, but we're gonna get more studies. And I'm like, okay, okay, yeah, I kind of don't see it.
that again.
Yeah, but he was always hopeful. He always saw the bright side, and that's one of the things he has. He actually hardly ever I seen him focusing on the bad stuff. Optimism all the way through. Then he perseveres too. Like we will be walking to the clinic. I'm like, oh my god, I had to come here, and like, Matt, let's do a video. And I mean,
That's my go-to.
every time, and after the video, he was talking. He looked so excited, so hype up. I'm like, he might be right. He just might be right, So that's the one. And then another thing he has, I don't know if I'll say too much on this comment. The one time, I don't recall the exact scenario or the exact what happened, but somebody let us down, pretty much. Somebody let us down. I don't recall what happened. I tend to forget like bad stuff soon. Try not to hold it in. But I do remember this. I was like, oh man, I'm disappointed. It happens. And I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, man, I learned not to expect nothing from anybody. That way you don't get disappointed.
Set your expectations low.
That's what he said, and I'm like, let me think about that one. That kind of makes sense. And that's one of the things he has. I mean, if something doesn't stick, I mean that's this was with the person. But if like let's say we did a study, it didn't stick, it happens. Let's move on. Let's keep on trying.
All
Let's-
offense.
Perspective.
yeah, so that's something he has, and honestly, he's probably a couple other people, maybe one more I can think of that might have that trait. That's one of a kind.
Yeah.
Like I am like, oh my god, this disappointed me. That didn't happen. Well, that didn't go as planned.
We're doomed.
There goes another screen failure, right? And he's like, nah, we'll screen one more. So he always have that optimism, but I never really seen him down, like broken down. You know, when something doesn't go well, I never really seen him like, ah man, I'm done. I'm done with this. So that's something that he has that it's hard to find. And then of course, you know, we go in his car, he has an audiobook all the time. And then we start talking about the author, the book and whatnot. And then if it's not like something, let's see, he was saying philosophy and stuff like that, it's something research related. And then so he's persistent. Yeah, obviously it doesn't give up, right? But that mentality, I think that's what has made him very successful. That mentality is like, I'm gonna keep on moving, even if when you started the videos, there was only a handful of views, like nothing, no views, and then it was like, let's do it again, let's go interview this other person, and then I don't know if you were on the panel when they showed that video with the nails.
Yeah.
When that happens, like, man, check this out. I'm like, what happened? Look at this. It was TikTok, right? It was a TikTok. It's like, look at this. Look, man, people are reacting to the nails. I'm like,
That was the wildest thing.
at that point, I think it was like a 60,000 views.
No.
And he was so hyped up. He was so excited about it. And then, because when they started interviewing random people, not about research, I'm like, well, what research? Like, we should talk about research, right? We should talk about the studies we have going on. Maybe we can recruit. And I was like, no, man, we just want the community to know us, and know, and like our people know the nail girl, and the nail girl know us, you know, and kind of like connect or that way. And I'm like, okay, sure. Sure. I mean, no harm done. And then you start seeing the benefits of those
Yeah.
things. And you mentioned that, like, doing stuff that is not ordinary.
Yeah.
And that's something he does well. Like,
And playing
because
the long
all those
game.
are his ideas. Nobody else's. I mean, I cannot take credit for that. Nobody else can. It's just him. Like, let's do this. And sometimes in my head doesn't make sense, but I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm here already. Let's do it. But I think those are a couple qualities that he has that sets him apart.
Yeah.
From what I see.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, man. Whoa.
Thank you for that. That's an amazing podcast, by the way. Like, keep going. It's the opposite of that. Is the few times that I do, like, I tell everyone, I think I'm like, my mom has bipolar depression. It's like pretty bad, actually. I think I inherited permanent mania. I'm not joking. Like,
That works.
The Weimars.
that's like,
It's
that's
tiring for your wife. But
That's luck. That's like the DNA split the right ways, and I didn't do the wrong drugs early. Like, I think that has a lot to do with it. I do get like 1 or 2 days a year where I'm just like not that way, and if people notice, they're like worried. Like,
Right.
those are days where I like to have a serious conversation with an employee, and they're like scared they're gonna lose their job, and then they call my wife, who's the HR, and like, you know, I have to go like have a meeting. Like, he's not himself right now. Like, what's happening? So I do have those feelings. They all have, but it's like 2 days a year,
Yeah.
3 days a year,
Yeah.
and then we fix it.
Actually,
Takes it out, takes it like nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing. Like it will get stuck to me forever. And he's like, all right, man, let's keep on moving.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that's really draws people to you is that you're very authentic. Like that you don't.
I try to be
like,
more the
you know,
older I get.
Yeah. I mean, you're yourself. You're an optimistic person. You have a vision. You're excited. You like, and you know, and you're playing the long game.
If you make something work for the short term because of money, and you had to cut corners, and you had to fuck people over, and like I'm the one at the end of the day have to live with that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not.
and now I have a kid. Like,
Yeah.
at one point he's gonna see like, oh, my dad wasn't like what I thought he was. Like, he was an asshole. You know, like, I think that's the next layer that hasn't even really started to affect me yet, but it's gonna keep me in check because I think that's more important. Like, your legacy at the end of the day is more important than making money, or
Yeah.
like make it the right way, or like don't fuck people over. At the minimum, don't fuck people over. I know there's been a few that think they got fucked over. Thinking and getting is different, right? And like, we all make mistakes, but at least that's like the philosophy I try to keep.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta like a clear conscience is the softest pillow.
There you go.
Yeah.
I sleep damn good at night.
Yeah.
Like every night.
Yeah, but speaking of your kid, like, and philosophy, have you read Ryan Holiday's
Daily Dad. Yeah, I have it.
Do you get?
I read it every day.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Daily Stoic.
Yeah.
and
those
Daily
those are
Power
great.
Laws.
Oh, I haven't
Robert
checked
Greene.
that out. Okay.
Robert Greene's
Oh, Robert Greene's awesome. Yeah, and he trained Ryan Holiday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, definitely. It's so
but
good
I'm
to
gonna
be-
check out that book that you said about the Ryan Shea or what?
Yeah, Shane Parrish.
Shane Parrish. Shane
Yeah,
Parrish.
yeah, he has a book on mental models, and he's also big on positioning, which is, I think it's probably self-explanatory, but now it's like shifted my mind as to how I'm positioning, and positioning meaning like putting yourself in a place where you have options, where you don't even have to, you don't have to figure out the future if you have options. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
if you're already covered.
Book is that?
It's by Shane Parrish, and I think it's like, yeah, I don't recollect
I'm gonna read
the
Shane
title,
Parrish.
but he has like
Related to that, have options. Like, I definitely always believe in that. That's why I have many businesses.
Yeah.
Nietzsche, I just read this like 2 days ago or 3. Nietzsche, in his autobiography, Ecce Homo, he said, I never put myself in positions where I'm forced to react based on other people's will.
Right, that's position.
He said, if you do that, if you put yourself always, we all are human. We're going to have to do things. We're going to have to react to someone says something, okay, I have to do it. But if you chronically put yourself in those positions, you're a slave. Like, you're not free.
Yeah.
The Uber man doesn't put himself in position where he has to react,
Right.
right? And that's reminded me of that.
Yeah, and also I think for people like myself and maybe you, like, that's a huge reminder to plan. That to think things through, and it's like the builder like builds things twice, like once on paper.
Once on
in
paper.
life,
Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of the problems that we face in life are somewhat predictable.
Yeah.
Like we all have relationships, for example. We have a business that depends on cash flow. Like there's
the real shit.
We're in a heavily regulated environment. There's a lot of predictable things that can go wrong. That it shouldn't be considered a black swan. It's like this is part of the business. Like like you're talking about, like stuff goes bad, and you're like that's part of business, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's times where like you do have to make austerity measures. Like
That's true.
we're gonna get into a situation here. Like these cold summer T-shirts might be for us, man. We've been getting used to getting dividends regularly at the clinic, and we're really living off of the past activity we've done,
We
and
are
not
too right now.
You see?
Yeah.
We're not the only ones.
Yeah.
I think that changes quickly.
We're about to see a wave.
For most people that we talked so far, that's what they've been seeing.
But
The
they're
last
not
few
the only
months
ones.
are like stagnant a little bit,
Yeah.
and but not
Well, research is feast and famine. Like that's like
and famine.
that's what it
Eat
kind
up,
of
bro,
that's
and
what
then
it kind
fast,
of boils
hibernate
down
like a
to.
bear.
Exactly.
right. Intermittent fasting.
and
there.
Right now, we're Gracia
Yeah.
Lana hibernating. Right?
Yeah, and have some cash reserves. That's
We have
positioning.
plenty, yeah.
That's positioning. Yeah.
We had plenty. We
Uh-huh.
do give a lot of dividends to the owners,
Yeah.
and but I think now that we've all received the regular, if we had to fast for 1 quarter, I think everyone would be more receptive to it, as opposed to in the past where it's like, it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're like, no, we understand. Like, Not saying that will happen, but
Yeah.
there's some
But
austerity.
they've
that-
seen the benefits of research enough
yeah.
to wait. Yeah.
And the work, like honestly, mid-level. I mean, he does a lot, and PIs do even less.
Sure.
Coordinators do the most
it
work.
all,
Like
yeah.
the salary structure is completely inverted. Like
Yeah.
rewards to we're just the ones that know how to put everything together.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think we're all pretty generous with with our
we're
staff.
amongst.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but like, I take that shit seriously. Like
Yeah, me too.
keeping the employees happy.
Yeah.
They go to work for you every day. Like they put their necks out on the line. If they slack for a little bit, you talk to them. If it obviously doesn't work, you gotta tell them. But for the most part, if you pick the right people, they will get the message.
Yeah. Well, the other part of the compensation pyramid that you're talking about is that we get paid last. So,
get paid
or not
last.
at all. Or
What's
not
that
at
book?
all.
Leaders eat last.
Yeah. Well, we get paid last if there's anything left over.
If there's anything left.
And right now, it's a little slim.
Gonna do some keto.
Slim pickings.
Intermittent fasting.
That's right.
For real?
Hopefully not a dry fast.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, this has been really fun. I'm so
philosophical.
I'm so glad we got a
I
chance
didn't
to
expect
catch
all
up.
the
Yeah.
showering of praise, man. Like,
These are just some observations. It's not like it's not a compliment.
That's
It's just
Daniel.
like
I'm an asshole. I'm
I've
a
seen-
dude.
No, I've seen your career arc, so I'm in a position to like be able to.
That's
kind of
crazy that we've known each
observe
other
what
like a
else-
decade.
Yeah,
or more.
10 years. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
You're
definitely.
liking Lake Arrowhead?
I love it up there. Yeah, you gotta come up and visit.
know, man.
Sauber came, and
Supper came to Lake. Well, he
Yeah.
works like what, 40 minutes away from.
yeah, it's true.
It's not that hard.
It's
It's like me going to
Well,
El
he's in
Centro.
Riverside, is it? Or
Corona.
Corona. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we still have the clinic there in San Bernardino, though.
Yeah. I may be driving through Yuma actually on the way to Tucson and the next.
It's right there,
Like
yeah.
in early April.
Yeah,
Can-
come through.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll coordinate with you.
That's dope.
Yeah,
Well,
with my
you have a LinkedIn. You do have a LinkedIn. You're not
Yeah.
that active, though, huh?
No, I don't do anything on.
You're,
LinkedIn.
like, very
I'm like, yeah,
reserved.
I'm like kind of low key. Like
Yeah.
I'm just.
You're
like,
cerebral.
I'm like just grinding. Getting it done, getting after it, basically.
But you're a student of basically everything.
Yeah, I try to be.
That's one thing I noticed
and
of you.
everybody.
He had a
Because
super
of-
successful blog for diabetes before he became a site owner and sold that. That's kind of what intrigued me about you, because I was like, wow, he did the media thing before everybody jumped on it. He had a very successful diabetes blog because of type 1,
Yeah.
right?
It was type 2 and type 1.
Oh, type 2 and
yeah,
type 1.
and it was for clinicians, like basically keeping them up to date on the newest breakthroughs and insights in research, is because so much is always going on in diabetes. It's like a full-time and plus job.
So he
to
sold
stay up
that.
with
He sold that and then started thinking about how do I own a site, right away, and started doing consulting and
So
Yeah.
you were already looking at research just at the end of it, right?
Yeah,
And
and
implementing.
and I started a company with 2 other people that does compliance management software. Basically, it's called Intellect, and then that was sold to private equity 2 years ago. But like 12 years after I found a replacement for myself.
yeah.
But it was not a bad thing for us.
That's cool. Well, this has been a smooth pod. We'll do a soft landing like our flight from Yuma to Phoenix. Me and Luis were talking. We didn't even notice we landed.
Oklahoma.
We didn't even know. I swear to God, we didn't even know we landed in Phoenix from Yuma. It was that smooth.
Touchdown was super smooth too.
Yeah, I was still talking to Luis, and then it's like, oh, we gotta go. Oh, I don't know. So that's how we'll land this pod. Go follow both of these guys.
You have an airport in Yuma?
We have an airport in Yuma. It goes to Dallas or Phoenix, and it's only American.
Okay, well, Phoenix is such a hub.
Yeah, from those 2 places you could go anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
yeah,
Future business.
Yuma. Yeah, people that fly to Yuma from Cali, it's kind of dumb. They gotta go to Phoenix, and then Yuma. It's easier to drive.
Drive, yeah. So we're gonna
Well,
Yeah.
it's Southern California, yeah.
Oh yeah, NorCal, different story. But yeah. Well, cool, man. It's a blast from the past. That's
Great
Nice
to
to
see
meet
you.
you.
Nice to meet you too, Henry.
like, subscribe, comment, share, and Daniel's favorite mic drop. Hey, if you guys like that kind of content, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Stay tuned for more videos.